to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and our community. And now, here is your host, Kevon Cameron.
Welcome, everyone. Happy Saturday. Thanks for joining us. My name is Kevon Cameron. I am the host of In the Cut. This is the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and all of its happenings, our community. Again, Kevon Cameron here. I am the lead organizer of the BN's New York City affiliates. This show is a production of BlackNonbelievers. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It's headquartered in the Atlanta area. We connect with Blacks and allies who are living free of religion and might otherwise be shunned by their family, friends, and by providing a caring, friendly, informative community. Instead of accepting dogma, we determine the truth and morality through reason and evidence. The mission, of course, of BlackNonbelievers is to provide secular fellowship, nurture and support non-believers in coming out, encourage pride in non-religious identities, educate the public on the history and current state of non-belief in the Black community, and of course, organize events and for charitable causes. BN welcomes all, regardless of age, gender identity, sexual identity, national origin, racial identity. However, our content and our work prioritizes Black and non-religious voices. Now, I would like to welcome our co-host for today, the founder and president of BlackNonbelievers, Mandisa Thomas.
Thank you, Kevon. I thought I was going to have to host the show for a second. There have been a few little issues that we've been having here this afternoon, but I'm very glad to be here. Thank you to everyone who is watching this afternoon, and I am excited to have the guests that we have on the show today, Cynthia McDonald and Jena Miyu. I am here in Worcester, Massachusetts, because I will be delivering the annual Wolfson Lecture that is presented by the Unitarian Universalist Church of Worcester. This is in Massachusetts. And I will also be receiving the corresponding award. Now, some of you might be like, dang, Mandisa, you've gotten quite a few awards these past few years, and I definitely do appreciate the honor and the recognition. I always say this isn't why I got involved, but this also is a result of all of the hard work and support of people like Kevon, our organizers, Latanya, Tina, and Ro, and everyone who supports BlackNonbelievers. And so we really, really do appreciate all of you. We still have a lot of work ahead of us, but it really is nice when the recognition comes, and there will be more information about how you can tune into that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Now, hint, hint, Kevon, Massachusetts is Worcester is only a few hours away from New York City. So if you are in that area, it is just a short drive. If you would like to attend in person, of course, safety and social distancing guidelines will be followed. But in the event that you are in the area, please do join in person. That information will be available later in this broadcast. But of course, if you can't make it and you'd like to tune in online, you are more than welcome to do so. Let's get some high viewership for this event. I think it will determine in the future who the awardee recipients will be. Considering that I am the first Black woman and the first person of color to receive this award, this does make a huge, huge impact. And so I just, again, really want to thank everyone who has supported BN and me personally over these past few months. They have been rough with all the losses. And I just want to say thank you all very much. And I really do appreciate you all. And I will turn it back over to Kevon.
Okay, thanks, Mandisa. So we have a great show for you guys today. We have two of my favorite guests coming up. The first one is, well, both of them together. We have today both Cynthia McDonald and Jena Miyu. Cynthia is an infectious disease medical case manager where she works with people living with HIV in the city of Chicago. She authors a blog called Friedman Health and Wellness, which speaks on the social determinants of health of Black Americans descended from chattel slavery. She's been a guest on several podcasts and is a regular co-host on the Nonprofits, which I'm sure you've heard of. It's produced by the atheist community of Austin, and of course she's also a host of Women Atheists Unload, produced by the Promethean Secular Frontier channel. Cynthia is a health and political advocate that works with various organizations in Chicago and nationally to achieve social and economic justice for Black freedmen descendants, push for health equality and marginalized groups in the United States, and normalize atheism in the Black community. She is also a musician that writes and performs various genres of music, such as classical, R&B, and dance. Jena has played an active role in the secular online community for the past 3 years. Presently, she is the co-owner and host of the Atheist Network Group YouTube channel, commonly referred to as TANG, Tang, where she is developing a pre-recorded show that is titled A Black Diaspora, which focuses on platforming unique stories of Black and mixed race non-believers. She also produced and hosts the Promethean Secular Frontier, which I just told you about with Cynthia. They collaborate on that YouTube channel, and of course, Women Atheists Unload show. She has co-anchored and co-produced the International Freethinkers YouTube channel, and she, of course, appears on the Nonprofits. She passionately supports various other YouTubes and Discord platforms where in her professional and working life, she's a full-time licensed nurse and student. Jena is closeted about her atheism to her family and close friends, proudly continues to her online activism in pursuit of normalizing atheism and secular communities. Her goal is to connect with other Black non-believers that find themselves in similar situations, while also finding answers and support to eventually be fully open about her non-belief. So welcome, Jena and Cynthia. What's going on?
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Happy. So I'm going to start out on some questions because I know Cynthia a little bit, not much. We've been on a couple of panels together. I think we did some American Atheist stuff last year when they had the virtual thing together. And I also saw you in Chicago and on the Women of Color Beyond Belief, which we're also doing. Check out BlackNonbelievers.org for that. We're coming up with Women of Color this year as well. We just announced, just sort of announced. But I'll start out the same way we start out with all of our guests. How did you get here? How did you arrive at your non-religious beliefs? Which we'll start with Jena, because I don't know you as well.
No, that's fine. Wow. It's been a journey with my deconstruction process. It's been over several years, like majority of my 20s. Currently, I just recently turned 32 about a couple of weeks back. So most of my 20s, that deconstruction process is silently questioning, finding out, answers to questions that I thought were taboo and did not know and was unfamiliar with any person that was a Black skin that would be a non-believer. So I found myself joining a Discord server that is a fan-based server for the for the atheist community of Austin. Sorry, lawnmower. So joining that platform roughly 3-4 years ago helped me discover, other non-believers, but yet still lack the, importance of finding people of my own race in that aspect. And so finding that it was that trouble of...
Oh, you muted, Jena.
Sorry, a lot of disturbances. Sorry. finding that I still lacked finding anyone of the Black skin or African American, through a mutual friend, I landed on finding Mandisa Thomas and the BlackNonbelievers. And of course, I think us and something that Cynthia McDonald hosted a few years back, that's how we kind of met and joined in on each other. So through that, it has helped me kind of come out of my shell just a little bit. And through a friend, nurturing friend that encouraged me to speak more and have a platform, I got my face on YouTube, and another mutual friend got me into connection with the nonprofits. And, at first, I did not feel as comfortable, obviously displaying my face and the, fear of being found or discovered. But I think the uniqueness of me still continuing to do this and more has helped me learn a lot, has helped me gain some more strength and support through my, deconversion and leading me towards being more of an out atheist. So it's still a story I'm writing. It's still a journey. It's still a discovery of myself. And ever since then, I've just been doing it passionately, and hopefully that helps encourage others.
Okay, cool. I have some more questions for you. You have a very interesting story. I have some more questions for you. But before then, Cynthia, what about you? What brought you to heathenism, Black heathenism?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm born a heathen. No, I'm just kidding. Well, similar story, grew up Christian. I was I grew up as an Episcopal, and when I went to college, I became saved and was part of a non-denominational church. I did a lot of the things that one does in a particular environment. I was in the choir. I did praise and worship. I did the whole thing. And then when I had a desire to study the ministry and become a minister. And that's when I started to get exposed to the really problematic stuff in the Bible that I did not know existed until then, because that's not stuff that's really talked about. And when I started to ask a lot of questions, no one ever gave me a really satisfying answer. And I decided after a while, I ended up coming back home, because this is like in the same area that I went to when I was in college at. And when I graduated and I ended up coming back home, after a while, Christianity just was not working for me, but I still believed in God. And after a while, I kind of, went into different spiritualism routes. Like I studied a little Hindu, I studied a little ancestral worship. I got into chakras because I was really into yoga, and then I found Buddhism. And I really like the philosophy of Buddhism, and but one of the things that kind of bothered me about it is that there was no in the Buddhism that I practiced, there was no center of God or worshiping of God. It was more so of taking accountability for self, and really to become, self-developed, and really bring out what they call the inner Buddhahood, which is basically your highest self. And one of the things that I was reading a book one day called Human Revolution, Volume 1. And one of the things that was written in it was that above all, Buddhism is good reason. And then that really started to make me examine my God belief. Like, why do I still believe in something that I can't prove? I can't use my five senses to actually corroborate exist. Why am I doing that? And then after a while, I just reasoned myself out of belief, and it was very difficult because, of course, I spent the majority of my life serving, believing, praising an entity that I never really met. And I also was very concerned about, well, what happens to me when I die? Will I not see my dead relatives again? Like, just going through all those particular questions. And then also I always had like this notion in my head that if I was going through any type of trials, tribulations, stuff that they say in the Black church, then God has my back. But it became even more of a grief that I experienced when I realized that all those years that I thought God had my back, that wasn't the case. That was really just me. And that happened, I would say, in 2018. And then I started to kind of just like float in different communities just to really try to figure out, okay, I'm an atheist now. What does that mean? You know? And so well, luckily I was dating an atheist who loves to call himself the Pope of Atheism. Shout out to Arthur Ward. And he really helped me as far as like connecting to other content creators and things of that nature. And then one day I was listening to the Thinking Atheist and heard Mandisa Thomas and different members of the Black atheist group or Black atheist community. And I'm like, man, I want to be like her when I grow up, you know? And then and then eventually like we met and was working with different platforms and like, you know, doing roundtables and having discussions and I found the BlackNonbelievers online and, you know, been working in tandem with different projects ever since. And it's really cool. But I was really happy that I found the BlackNonbelievers specifically because the only Black atheist I knew was my boyfriend. That's it. And it's one thing when you know have a community of atheists, period, that may be, you know, diverse, they're white, they're, you know, they're Asian, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a whole different experience when it's somebody who looks like you and who's part of your group and has similar experiences than you. Like that's part of your culture. I mean, that's very important because it really helps to solidify whatever identity that you are developing now that you have this non-belief. Because of course we know that belief, especially Christianity, is so apropos to what it is to be.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to definitely agree with that. That's why I started running the meetup group, even though I had no intention of ever running a meetup group. When the opportunity came up, it was like, you know, I'm not seeing like a lot of Black people stuff going on here, and I'm like, this is New York. We're supposed to be this super open-minded, progressive type place, and there's this where the Black atheists going on. So that's how I wound up running it. It seems like we're all kind of sort of here because of Mandisa.
Yeah.
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 It's all you, Mandisa. It's all you.
You're muted, Mandisa.
You're muted.
I said, don't blame me for this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to step back away now.
Okay. All right. So Jena, it's very interesting because I was going over the bio like a couple of days ago. I saw the closeted part. How is that a thing? Because I personally, I don't know how much people remember about my backstory, but I don't really associate with a family, so it's not a big issue for me. But do you have a relationship with like a close relationship with family? How does that work?
It is very close, very well, I mean, every family relationship is unique, but yes, I presently live with my older sister and her newlywed husband. So and originally, and we live in the same home we lived in since we were little. So we essentially bought, my sister and I, our parents' home. Oh, I would say like almost close to 5 years ago now. And then, you know, eventually my sister got married, so he lives with us now. So our family has this unique closeness, I guess, in relation to me, my sister, and my mother. Roughly 10, 11 years ago, we lost our dad suddenly. And so that closeness became a bit more of a bond, depending on each other, supporting each other, me venturing into nursing to get a job quickly to help support all three of us. And so that's how I got myself into nursing, even though I found out that I have a genuine passion for it. But yes, the unique closeness with my family is there. And then the extra sensitive part is, you know, with the loss of my dad suddenly. and that's kind of the catalyst that boosted my way towards my deconstruction and eventual deconversion, is that, you know, I've always been a little slightly bit different in personality than my mother and my sister. I was a daddy's girl, so losing that aspect of my life really hit me hard. And my sister and my mother have very strong personalities. They bond very well, and they're both very spiritual and very religious and all that stuff. And I could not relate, but I also did not want to be a disappointment. And this awkward, terrible motto within our family is there are no losers in this family. So the significance of all of that and striving to be, you know, the best daughter, best sister, still live up to whatever my father had dreams for my life or whatever, it's carrying on. I guess now that I'm actively thinking about it, I'm carrying on their aspects of what they want in my life versus me focusing on what I desire and want for myself. And I've done that for many years. And up until recently, I've kind of figured out, like, you know, I can live my life and I should, but I'm struggling because I've waited too long to do that. So just as much as the close meld of being Black and also having to be religious is so, you know, closely melded into being, you know, Black and of faith, it's almost kind of similar aspect as for my view of, you know, struggling to let go of not adhering to what my family thinks and wants of me, but actually moving on to what I want for myself. So yeah, it's difficult, and I'm getting closer to getting that talk. So
Okay. I mean, it's on your own time. You're not the only, especially Black female atheist that I know. I
right.
mean, I'm in multiple atheist groups, as you can imagine, both in person and online. You're not the only one. You know, from different religions, as Muslim and former JWs. There, it's a thing, and it's just interesting that your face is online, and that's you're still a bit closeted. I hope
Yeah.
I hope you know, nothing happens, because I remember was it Matt Dillahunty who got outed before he was ready to tell people? I think he talks about. So hopefully you can do it on your own time, and I hope no one sees the show in your family.
Well.
But yeah. So what was your religious background originally?
Oh yes, I'm Baptist Christian.
Baptist Christian.
So, and you know, I've talked about this already, because just a couple weeks ago, it's been a solid 2 years since I had not been in church because of the pandemic, of course. But just a couple weeks back, I back in church. So
wait,
that's been
hold on. You're going to church? Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
But-
That is
but
more
to back up-
complicated than I thought.
But to back up Jena, she's actually doing reconnaissance work.
Truly,
Okay.
truly I am.
She truly is doing reconnaissance work so that she can actually, you know, be able to report back to people on why this is a bad idea. So
Okay.
we support Jena's bravery.
I'm not judging at all. It just seems like it's got to be difficult. But yeah.
It is. And I actually, just briefly, because just a few weeks back, because my church live streams. So I felt brave and bold enough to do a live stream with Oz on the Tang channel to talk about that sermon that I sat through. That was a lot. So that in itself shook me, but it gave me more bravery to be like, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. So I'm building up to get to that point where I can just not be in this space anymore. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we're here to support you. You know, whenever
we're
I'm sure everybody here is very supporting, and you know, whenever you're ready for that. Cynthia, what I think you mentioned it. What religion did you grow up in?
Episcopalian and then non-denominational.
Okay, a million different types of Christianity out there.
Yeah.
So how has YouTube been for the both of you, especially as women of color? How has that been as far? Because we know it's a bit of a wasteland at times with the comment section, and there's a bit of canceling that goes on these days, especially when you say certain things. How's your experience? Let's start with Cynthia. How's your experience been with YouTube?
It's been a ride, I tell you, Kevon. It's been a ride. I kind of fell into YouTube accidentally. Um, I because like I would listen to a lot of content from the ACA and other atheist content creators, and I remember one day listening to Talk Heathen when Eric LaBianca were Eric Murphy and V LaBianca were hosting then, and this really interesting person called into the show and told them that he was starting his own channel. His name was Ethan Michael. Shout out to Ethan. And Ethan was also in the Chicagoland area. He was actually in a suburb. And I said I was actually going to check him out. So the first thing that I listened to was a debate between Ethan and another person that calls himself Larry the Christian. And they were debating the existence of Jesus. And one of the things that I remember specifically Larry saying that we have more evidence of Jesus' existence than Julius Caesar, which I learned later is a common apologist argument that is absolutely false. And so I remember just like going crazy in the comment section, like, that's not true because we have the death message of Julius Caesar. We have coins that actually shows that he is aging over years. We have his own writings. We don't have any of that with you. Some of this is going off, right? And then Ethan sees my comments and was like, I need to friend with this person. I was like, you sure you want to friend me? But okay. So from there, he asked me to do a yeah, I got you, Oz. Jesus is myth. and so like from there we he asked me if I would do a commentary with him with this person named Steven Crowder. I'm pretty sure you guys heard about Steven Crowder. And so we were doing we were commenting on one of his videos, and then and not too long after that is when COVID just like hit the fan. And then we started to get the numbers on how badly Black people were faring at the beginning of COVID, whether it be economically or health-wise, especially with mortality rates. Like at one point, the highest deaths due to COVID were African American. So Ethan asked myself and another person that he actually had a debate with about something else, I forgot, if we would do a stream and talk about it. Why are Black people dying at higher rates than every other group when it comes to COVID-19? And so we had that particular discussion, and then that led to the very first show that I did called the 13%. And that was a show about socio and political issues that were really prevalent in the African American community. And the person that I did that show with was my first co-host, and then after that, my he ended up leaving, and my partner, boyfriend Arthur Ward, took over. So I noticed that it's with YouTube itself, it's a great way to connect with other people who are like-minded. But one of the things I was always very concerned about was creating an echo chamber, because I really wanted to make sure that any content that I was helping to create, to produce, what have you, was to really foster discussion, not necessarily to say, yes, Cynthia, you're always right, even though most of the time I am mostly right. Ask my partner. However, I don't want to necessarily, always have that to be the case. But have I had like some trolls to say, oh, Cynthia this or Cynthia that? Yeah, I mean, I think that comes with the territory. You're going to have trolls. You're going to have people that don't agree. You're going to have people who say whatever, But one of the things that I try to do. And I remember one of our, mutual host, Puck from the ACA, said about me was, and this is like one of the best compliments I ever got in my life, is that Cynthia's beliefs are well researched. And I take that to heart. I carry that as a badge of honor, because I want to make sure as best as possible that if I am commenting or saying anything at all, that I'm not just saying it just because it's something that's important to me. I want to make sure that what I'm saying is as closest to fact as possible. You know, that way I'm not. I that way I can be more of an honest interlocutor than not. So
Okay.
that's YouTube to me.
Okay. Sounds pretty a good better experience than some people. So yeah. What about you, Jenna? How's it treating you? And have you seen it treat? How have you seen it treat other people, women of color, etc.?
Well, for me, it kind of went not necessarily by accident, but also just a gentle push from a friend to want to establish our own kind of, I guess, broadcast streamed talk, because we were predominantly just sheltered in Discord. So we just had a lot of conversation there, but we wanted to bridge it over to a bigger platform. And as much as I did not want to put my face out there, I was like, okay, well, if we start small, and we were small for a while, then I'll be okay. And then I guess the further encouragement from people that would listen to us or listen to me, and comments, or people that would email me and say, you have a very unique and important story to tell, and I can relate to it. And that was empowering. And through another mutual friend of me and Cynthia's, Neil the 604 Atheist, I remember doing my first broadcast, like deconversion of myself. And that's how a whole window of a whole new world just opened up, where I met other people that found something within my story that needed to be told, and that needed to be encouraged, to offer more encouragement for those that could hear it. So I guess through that, it helped me just be a bit more brave. And I just settled in myself. It's like, well, if my family or any church family or whatever found this, then so be it. That'll just be my out until I find better reasons or better outlets to do so. Landing into the nonprofits, appearing on other channels, or developing other shows, or producing or editing, whatever it was. I wanted to do more, but I was also seeking more. I was seeking my own answers to my own questions, and finding out ways to be more open, or just hearing other people's stories, how long it took them to be more open or not. And so I think through that experience with doing certain video production stuff, I recall something that hit me hard when I did a recorded show with a mutual friend of ours, Pasta Mike, on his channel, Normalizing Atheism, where in the comments of this video, and me talking about my story in shorter form, an individual that was recognized as an atheist made a comment of, why I am creating a division in our atheist community. Why do I have to label Black atheism, and why can't we just all be atheists together? And I found that quite enduring and sad, because interesting, because to think that I created this unique, subculture within a minority to say, oh, I created Black atheism, when that's always existed. There's so minimal of us. It's just the, it's no leadership of this creation that just develops, just like how society develops in its own, with how we separate ourselves, or how we with systematic racism and everything like that. So I found that empowering to say, that's just this sad notion of you not understanding the uniqueness of different ethnicities and races that have their experiences from deconversion. And I can only speak from my experience as a Black woman. I cannot speak for a Korean male person or a Latina female individual. I can't. I can only speak for myself. And this is what has been demonstrated. So moving from that, I wanted to strive to reach those Black female voices that, are lurkers, that may just be listening, that may not feel that encouragement to be, let alone comment or, put their face on camera. And even though I'm taking these risks, I feel that if I can at least reach that one individual, that's enough for me. That's enough to say, if someone came up to me and said, you were the one that helped me discover myself, and you taught me or helped me realize that I can open myself to question, that's enough for me. And I think if I can position myself and strive to do that much, then it's worth, the risk.
Yeah, I think that's very important. There are a lot of people who just, even within the community, who just don't get like that there are others out there. They seriously think that they're alone, and they don't see other voices. They haven't yet seen, Cynthia on Nonprofits. They haven't seen your channel. They haven't seen Black Nonbelievers. Somehow they're just in this. I mean, I guess it is a subculture. We're not exactly mainstream here. We know each other because we're the Black atheist community is like 8 people in a room. But for a lot of people, they just have not stumbled onto it yet, so they feel alone. So it's great that we just keep putting out the material and like giving people a place to go, knowing that they're not alone. What I wanted to get to next was a question about what you're passionate about, why you're doing the shows that you're doing. So in particular, what causes are you most passionate about, and how are you using your platforms to elevate those platforms, to elevate those particular issues?
Did you who?
Okay. Anyone can jump in.
Okay, I guess I'll start. I am super passionate about social and economic justice with Black Americans. I don't know if you could tell, but I really am. That's kind of my thing. And so I try to, even regardless of what space that I'm in, I try to bring that that awareness to whatever platform I happen to be on. And I'm also very passionate about normalizing atheism within the Black community. I mean, you read that on my bio, but I really mean it, because it's to me, like, I was watching Jeremiah Kamara's documentary called Contradiction. And it's really about faith and poverty in marginalized communities, and how it seems like that faith is so high, yet funding is so low. And what is the correlation for that? And why does it seem that people who don't have like hardly a pot to piss in seems to be very, very religious? And to me, it seems like that when you look at like the Pew Research, when it comes to how many Black Americans identify as Christian, it's like 79%, and it's the highest in the nation amongst all racial and ethnic groups, like the highest. Yet when you look at our wealth share, it's the lowest of everyone in the nation, and that's crazy to me. And I know that a lot of people would say that, well, in the civil rights movement, you had a lot of Black churches that helped as far as like organizing and really doing like that social justice work. But in reality, Dr. King was not a favorite of the majority of Black churches when he was doing his civil rights work. Matter of fact, you can possibly count them on like a hand and a half of the churches that supported the movement. So this whole notion that the Black church per se is our saving grace is absolutely false. And I remember I got into a whole debate over a meme that I put up that said that Black people hate everything about hate everything about slavery except for Christianity. And one Christian acquaintance took umbrage of what the meme said and decided to challenge me on it. But when you look at history, it does show that the slavery was absolutely supported in the Bible, in the Old Testament and the New Testament, including Jesus actually even supported beating the slave. Look that up, people. And all types of horrible things that, and especially when it comes to slavery in of itself, a lot of the practices that were outlined as justified in the Bible were used on Black people when they were here during chattel slavery. So I do my damnedest to really bring truth to life, to say, hey, I mean, like, I'm not really into I don't know if it's like, deproselytizing or proselytizing on the non-belief part, because I don't necessarily believe that that people should be made to not believe. They should, reason themselves out of it. But at the same time, I don't necessarily have a problem with saying that you need to look at your beliefs and you need to look at history and see if your beliefs actually stand up to scrutiny, and also if it was more of a help to our people or a hindrance. And the preponderance of evidence show that it was a hindrance, and it still is a hindrance. I feel that a lot of times that because, I remember Annie Laurie from the Freedom from Religion Foundation said, "Pie in the sky until you die." That this is too much of a narrative when it comes to Black people that happen to be theists, especially when they're Christian. And it keeps our eyes off of really being able to look at the things that are important, which is life right now, where we are right now, and what we're trying to create right now. And if you are so busy trying to figure out heaven, you're not going to be able to figure out life now. And I vehemently try to push that narrative to say that if God has not shown up, God didn't show up during slavery, God didn't show up through Jim Crow, God didn't show up through peonage, God did not show up through redlining, God did not show up through the war on drugs, God did not show up through mass incarceration. What you think that God gonna show up right now? Okay, so it's time for us to get off of God and actually put our heads and our eyes on what matters. Yes, and I also believe that the trauma that we have endured, especially when it comes to religion and also as a people, period, in the United States. It's so important that we even focus on that and even see the correlation between belief and racism, how it's been systemic and institutionalized and things of that nature. And really, find a way to say that, what, we need to examine this, we need to get in, and we need to really get to the point where we can kind of put these things down in order for us to move forward as a people. So that's why I do what I do.
Yeah, it's so difficult though, because it seems to me at least to be this cycle where it's like Christianity is like a coping mechanism for hard times. It gets you through the horrible times, but it also keeps you in hard times. So you can't ever break. You can't ever really. It devalues education. It overvalues having children, even when you don't have enough money to take care of them. It actively does things to keep you in poverty. But then it says, hey, look, we're your safe place when you're poor. Come here. We got you. We might not have all the money, but we have support and maybe like a daycare program here and there. So it's this weird cycle. So it's hard to break it. I'll throw the same question to you though, Jena. What causes are you most passionate about, and how are you getting that out through your platform?
Yeah, and to identify anything specifically, I'm still discovering that, but I become more solid on one thing, and that is not only just recognizing those that still remain closeted and are not finding the appropriate outlets or people to talk to, uh, but also focusing on those that, especially women, especially Black women in church, that mask their feelings, mask their depression. They push themselves with this sense of unattributed leadership, because Black women in church do all the fundraising, all the organizing, all the everything, and yet they can't have any type of leadership or even stand at the podium. In fact, my church, or my family's church, still has that type of reverence. Like, there are no women that can preach in that church. It's a no-no. And so the I I've been struggling and want to fight against this idea that a woman should act this way, and a woman should be, especially a Black woman, she has this whole way of carrying the family through her faith. And I'm not married, I don't have children myself, but those aspirations were placed on me because that's something that's expected of me. And just to say this briefly, with my sister recently getting married, now that I'm the next one in line, apparently, all eyes are on me saying, "Oh, you're next." But that necessarily doesn't have to be. I think, what allows me to continue to do what I do is to allow those to see that it's okay to just be yourself. It's okay to not have to live a life that someone else wants for you. And I say this ironically because I'm still going through that process myself, and it's a slow journey for everyone. And I adamantly push against those that force others to just go ahead and just come out just because they think it was the easiest process for them. It's not always easy. I think doing that in your own time, making sure that you're safe, not just physically, but mentally, that can be very heavy on a person that's dealing with it on their own when they don't have anyone immediate to fight with them against all that. And so if I can strive to demonstrate that and help them and encourage them and talk to them through that process, then that keeps me doing what I do on the platforms that I appear on, or the show that I create, and when I do one-on-one talks on just finding out where everyone else's journey was and is. And if I just keep with that, I would always have fun fulfilling that passion. And I think maybe that's my purpose. I'm not sure. But I have so much love and so much encouragement from Cynthia. I've had it from Mandisa when she talked to me. I've had it from Oz, who's my partner. I've had it from many that are in the chat that just recently subscribed to the channel. I've had it from so many that I have looked up to for quite a while now, and appreciating their voices and their uniqueness and what they bring to the atheist community and what they additionally bring to the Black atheist community. It's important.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to thank you for your support. I've been on your Twitter and I saw you promoting the show hardcore. So we're not just supporting you; you're actively.
Oh yeah.
You're actively. I see you put every time a Black person is on something atheist related, it's on your Twitter. So you're out there supporting as well. And I do think it's really good. To have the position that you're in, you're in a position where you are closeted. I think that's a good position. It's a fairly unique position within the community to show people, hey, listen, this is not easy. It's a process a lot of the times, because it is easier for some people. It wasn't an issue for me, but it is an issue for a lot of people. And I think it's great to have you within the community to show people like this is what it's like, and it's very supportive for a lot of people. So we appreciate having you. But we bringing back Mandisa. How's it going, Mandisa? You're muted.
Okay, I'm back. So I really have been enjoying the conversation and listening to Cynthia and Jena. And I appreciate you both for being on our platform today. And I really do appreciate all of your participation, all of your support. I appreciate the cross, all the collaborative work. I've been on your platforms. We've been on, Cynthia has been featured at the Women of Color Beyond Belief conference, and we are working on that for this year. And we're going to have both Jena and Cynthia there, along with many others. And it has just been important to me to make sure that, that we are really, really developing this foundation to amplify more of our voices. Because again, there are more of us out here. Because of the conditioning of religious belief, it really does make you think that you're the only one when you come out of it, which isn't true. It has never been true, but definitely now in this day and age. And it is important that those of us who are truly dedicated to the work, who truly are dedicated to helping uplift and build a community, that we do work together. And it takes all kinds. It takes some of us who are, meeting with the people in person. It takes the YouTube platforms and contents. It's going to take, a number of us, and also our work and the way we do things. We don't all have to do them the same. And that is what is important. We are not, even within the Black atheist demographic or humanist demographic, we are not a monolith. We are unique in our own way. And that is okay. There is no one qualifier on what it means, to be a Black atheist, humanist, etc. And I just wanted to stress that. And this is one of the reasons why we have this show, is because there are a number of folks out there that people aren't aware of, and that they need to be. And also they need to be more in tune with the work that BN does, to see our faces, what we do, and also to continue to connect with those on other platforms and who are doing the same or similar work. So this is us pulling together and working together here. And I once again truly appreciate you both for being here. And of course to Kevon for hosting the show and for being a part of the New York City affiliate. It does make a huge, huge difference in what we do.
Yeah, cool. So that is almost a show. Before I let both of you go, though, is there? I know you guys have you're busier. You're busier than I am. I think almost as busy as Mandisa possibly. So what have you got coming up? What do you want to? Anything you got coming up like shortly that you want to promote? Get out there. Start with Cynthia.
Okay, well, first and foremost, subscribe to the nonprofits. We premiere a new show every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Jena, there you go, is also a part of that entire conglomerate, so it helps all of us. Also, like and subscribe to Promethean Secular Frontier. Women Atheists Unload actually does their show every Saturday, usually around 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have different hosts rotate throughout the month. I am super excited to have Jeremiah Kamara coming on the 6th to talk about that very issue concerning faith and poverty, especially in the Black community. I believe that we're even having at the end of the month, gosh, I feel so bad. The author of Black Freethinkers is going to
Chris Cameron.
Chris Cameron, yes, thank you, is coming also on, and so super excited about that. On the nonprofits next Sunday, we are going to be doing a deep dive into Jena, a bill that's in Jena's neck of the woods. Where you at? There you go. Which is California Reparations AB 3121.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a deep dive into that entire the bill, how it came about, what Secretary of State Shirley Weber, and even like how it looks and how it could possibly even set precedent on the national stage, and just like all and the arguments against and for. So like really, really looking forward to that. And I just be around these YouTube streets, you know what I'm saying? Check out Tang Better. and that's in June.
Woo.
I want to say June 25th, 24th,
25th, 25th, and 26th.
Yeah, 25th and 26th. So you guys, though the website up for Better is now, it's on now. So Jena will be there. I will be there. A whole bunch of us will be there. It will be really great. And yeah. Oh yeah, Freedom from Religion Foundation's conference in October. Mandisa will be where you at, Mandisa? Right there. We'll be doing the Godless Gospel Project, and so we're going to be
Nice.
performing and doing the panel there, and yeah, and yeah.
What else?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Houston. The Houston Oasis. I will be speaking in October there as well. So lots of stuff on the horizon, and yeah, and I'm coming to the BN cruise. I just want to say that because I need a vacation. God damn it. And yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Busy woman. Jena, what do you have coming up? What do you want to?
Almost equally as busy. I know. Well, yes. Still, unshameless plug to the Promethean Secular Frontier. They will have a Women Atheist Unload show later this afternoon, and they run it every Saturday. So definitely tune into that channel. I know with the Atheist Network group, also known as TANG, coming up this Monday, I'll be premiering part 1 of my pre-recorded show, A Black Diaspora. And actually, a friend that's in the chat, Electro Live, I did that one-on-one with him. And then we'll air part 2 on Wednesday on that channel. So just, tweet me or look out for my tweet on that once I finally upload it. Also on Tang, we're doing a LGBTQ plus live call-in show, just to, with all the recent BS of all the ridiculous bills hindering, trans community and us being allies. We want for our friends to speak on that. And of course, we've created it as a call-in show. So definitely tune in there on Tuesday. Various other things coming up. And of course, in November, I'll be a speaker at CCon for BN. So that's exciting. First speaker conference thing ever. So that I'm encouraged. I've been encouraged by everyone with that. And I'm excited and nervous, but excited. And then, of course, with Better, I'll be there in June, along with Oz and Cynthia and Paula Gia and Shannon Q and all these other great people that will be speakers there as well. And I'm sure as things go along, I'll just keep making myself more busy because that's just what I do. Besides, working full time and going to school. So there you go.
Cool. I really appreciate you guys coming on. I look forward to seeing both of you later on this year at different conferences and conventions. Yeah, it's great. Thanks. Thanks for coming on. No problem. Before we go, though, we just had a couple of quick things. Did Tina want to say hi on air? Tina from Charlotte, BN Charlotte. Hi, Tina. Tina Marshall does great work. She's a crazy woman who stands outside abortion clinics trying to make sure women have access and don't get harassed by religious people. So she's really doing the good work out there in Charlotte. You're muted, Tina.
Mostly Black and brown folks going to the clinics. Yeah.
Yes, very necessary work trying to make sure that women aren't bullied into not getting access to abortions.
Women and pregnant people.
Yes.
Good. Thank you.
Yes. Hi, Tina.
Thank you for prefacing that. I appreciate that.
Believe me, I learned the hard way.
Oh. Yeah, I work with a lot of gender non-binary people in my work, and also trans people, and they are criminally not seen as much as they need to be. So thank you for prefacing that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have anything coming up in the near future, Tina, that you wanted to promote?
No, not. It's nothing written in stone.
Okay.
But hopefully we'll meet in a couple weeks. The Charlotte group, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
And I'll be at the American Atheist Conference.
Cool. It'll be nice. I haven't seen you since the cruise. It'll be nice to see you in person again.
Tabling.
Cool. Thanks for coming on, Tina. All right. Before we get going, we just had a couple of quick reminders for everyone. Of course, you want to make sure you check out the Where We're Headed podcast. It is basically produced by our DC affiliate, the BNDC affiliate. It's you can check that out at podbean.com. We'll have the link for you in the chat. Also, as Mandisa might have definitely mentioned before, she's receiving the 2022 Wolfson Award. It's being given with a corresponding lecture to take place tomorrow, April 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, both in person at the UU Church and also of Worcester, Massachusetts, and of course virtually. You can register. We'll have that link up for you as well. Join us in New York City on April 10th. Of course, in New Jersey, just outside the city, where we'll be doing a brunch. You can check us out at meetup.com for that. It's hosted by my co-organizer Stephanie, but I'll be there as well, having some brunch with you guys for that event. Also, one of our most important things, we're partnering with Camp Quest, who is a full level partner for the 2020 to send some BN children to their Massachusetts and Virginia area camps. There will be special discount code for the entire month of April, and for those who are interested in full sponsorship, there will be an option to apply. Please visit their website. That's going to be campquest.org. We'll have that up for you as well. Also, they're still looking for counselors for Camp Quest. So if you want to check that out, it's campquest.org/jobs-openings. We'll of course have that link up for you as well. Also, BNCCon. Of course, Jena just mentioned that I will be at BNCCon. It's a great week of fun on the seas. Check that out. It's bnccon.org. It's the Black Non-Believer cruise we do almost every November, with the exception of that one COVID year. But yeah, check us out. It's an amazing time. And last but not least, of course, coming up Easter weekend is American Atheist Conference. We will be there representing, tabling, interviewing, getting all up in that situation. So be sure to check us out. You can register at convention.atheist.org for the American Atheist Convention there. And that is just about everything. That wraps up our show for today. I really appreciate you all joining us. Remember to follow us on social media. It's Black Non-Believers across all social media platforms. Subscribe to us and watch us on YouTube, Black Non-Believers on YouTube, and join us for our in-person and virtual events, Black Non-Believers on Meetup. And of course, make sure to support us financially if you can at BlackNonbelievers.org. Really appreciate you joining us, and have a good afternoon. Goodbye, everyone. Hola, ¿cómo estás?